I know that the shows I did, I'm still very proud of them. Well, I believe you do believe it's going to have some kind of impact on people. I think that's, anybody that takes their craft seriously, they want to do something where it's going to have some impact, because that's why people want to watch the shows.
Bonanza is one of the longest running shows of all time. It came out during the heyday of Western gunslingers, but brought in family and emotion, keeping viewers hooked. Keep watching to learn about mistakes you never noticed in Bonanza. Time period goofs. Bonanza may feel like the quintessential Western. You may watch it and feel instantly transported to the real Wild West. But there are plenty of stories and elements that don't belong in 1859. The costumes are definitely from the 20th century. Even elements as simple as the belt loops give them away. Those didn't appear on pants until decades after the 1800s. Most of the men are clean-shaven. It's not only the lack of running water that makes this stand out. Beards were the style in the 1800s. The hairstyles were also 20th century. Scene dressing also isn't always in the right time period. The saloon has floor model wheel slot machines. Those weren't invented until 1896. In Enter Mark Twain, the 5th episode of Season 1, Samuel Clemens tells the Territorial Enterprise he wants to write serious news stories. His publisher says, "This is a newspaper, not a comic strip." The first comic strip, The Little Bears, wasn't published until 1893. The term also wasn't part of popular vocabulary until around 1920. That's not the only time characters from Bonanza used terms from beyond their time. In Knight Errant, the 8th episode of Season 4, Walter Prescott said Hoss was two-timing him with a mail-order bride. That phrase didn't enter the dictionary until 1924. Cutthroat Junction, the 26th episode of Season 2, uses 3 anachronistic phrases. Troubleshooter didn't enter popular vocabulary until 1905. Mother hen didn't appear until 1934. The latest phrase, sitting duck, is from 1942. In He Was Only 7, the 22nd episode of Season 13, a boy dies and coins roll out of his hands. None of them would have been available in the 1800s. Washington quarters were first printed in 1932, Jefferson nickels in 1938, and Roosevelt dimes in 46. Even toys showed up in the wrong time period. In Found Child, the 7th episode of Season 7, Hoss finds a Raggedy Ann doll. They weren't invented until 1915. Geography goofs. The Cartwrights often go back and forth from Ponderosa to Virginia City, but this would have been impossible at the time if the Ponderosa Ranch was actually located in the mountains of Renova, Nevada. That trip would have taken 8 to 12 hours by wagon. Heavy snows near Lake Tahoe would have made the trip even more unlikely. Forgetting a nickname. A character's nickname can become an important part of a show. That makes it jarring when it's forgotten. This happens at least once in A Dream to Dream, the 26th episode of Season 9. Hoss takes Johnny, whom he always calls Timmy, for a horseback ride. For some reason, when they dismount by the lake, he calls him by his real name. Audio goofs. Keeping up with audio back in the golden age of television was even harder than now, so it's no wonder there were a few audio goofs on Bonanza. One appears in The Dark Gate, the 24th episode of Season 2. There was a problem with the recording of a scene of Ben speaking to Adam by the chuck wagon. One of his lines is dubbed in by another actor with a significantly higher and smoother voice than Lorne Greene's. Clear stock footage and painted backdrops. It's also no wonder that a show that ran as long as and cost as much as Bonanza used stock footage and painted backgrounds. It was an easy way to save time and money. One example was in The Dream Riders, the 32nd episode of Season 2. When a friend of Ben goes off in an air balloon, the sky in the flight scene is too perfect to be anything but stock footage. The sky also looks suspicious in Blind Hutch, the 9th episode of Season 13. Pay attention when Jamie and a blind man look up at a black-tailed magpie. The next shot shows a branch on a bare tree with no leaves. It's clearly stock footage because all the trees are fully grown and full in the next shot. Emerging without a scratch. Many fans may idolize the men of Ponderosa as rough and tumble, tough men. The show supports this idea to an unbelievable degree. The main characters get shot and wounded several times. Despite this, they never show any bullet holes or scars when partially clothed. Impenetrable glass and empty kettles. The glass in Ponderosa is also clearly made of strangely strong stuff. Take The Gentleman from New Orleans, the 18th episode of Season 5. The gang goes to look for where Jean Lafitte is hiding. They shoot behind the drapery, which should have shattered the windows. Somehow the windows and frame are untouched. Even when the glass does break, other props don't. Take The Saga of Muley Jones, the 26th episode of Season 5. The family's second cousin, Muley, goes singing around town and breaking glass everywhere. When he gets to the ranch, Ben is about to serve tea. His relative is singing upstairs and it shatters the kettle. It breaks, but no liquid comes out. It was obviously empty, shattering the illusion that it was a real kettle about to deliver tea. Visible equipment and crew. Hiding all equipment and crew while filming is difficult. Eagle-eyed fans enjoy trying to spot them in the shots. The most prominent occurs in every single episode of the first season. The Cartwrights gallop on their horses on their way home. If you look closely at the dirt road they come in on, though, you can see a set of tire tracks. It was most likely left by a truck carrying the camera in front of them. There are other examples. Take 5 Into the Wind, the 29th episode of Season 4. You can see a rubber tire near the cave Joe and the stagecoach passengers are stuck in. It's also easy to spot microphones. You can see one at the top of the screen in The Crucible, the 28th episode of Season 3, and in The Conquistadors, the 3rd episode of Season 9. The character Dan Blocker thought was a mistake. Details about timelines or crew in the frame are one thing. There are also the types of subjective mistakes that involve cast members who didn't like a detail about the show. Dan Blocker didn't like how quickly members of the Cartwright family came and went. He also disliked how bloated the cast ended up. He felt his character, Hoss, was too close in personality to Guy Williams' character, Joe. He told the Pittsburgh Press, quote, "Guy Williams is the same type of character that Mike plays, a swashbuckling leading man type. They'll have to divide the scripts for this kind of character. I know I'd be upset if they brought Alan Hale Jr., for example, into the show, because he's the same kind of character I am. Or if they brought Charles Bickford on the show, Lorne would be upset. That's why he thought the network was making a mistake with Hoss. There were too many Cartwrights, and they were too similar to one another." He also realized how much the world loved Hoss. He said,
"I don't believe, though, that there's any character on television with whom the public identifies more than this Hoss character that you play."
It may have taken him a while to accept the character as not a mistake, but he had plenty of seasons of development to do so. One thing seemed like a mistake, but wasn't. Bonanza was never about gunfighters. It was about family and protecting what matters most. As producer David Dorhort said about the show and its connection to his other work,
they were stories of crime and punishment. Somebody committed a crime, or somebody was cruel, or somebody was trying to steal or do some other immoral, illegal act, and getting away with it.
That often led to bringing out a gun. But there's one detail that eagle-eyed viewers of Bonanza may think is among its many time period problems. Shouldn't their pistol belts have loops for bullets? This is one case where Bonanza was actually correct. Pistols during the Civil War were cap and ball. They didn't have metallic cartridges, so there was no need for bullet loops. This is proven by the weapons that the Cartwright family used. Ben had a Remington Model 1875 revolver. Adam, Hoss, and Little Joe had Model 1873 single-action Army revolvers. These are all metallic. They have no trouble reloading them in numerous episodes. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite Bonanza episode? Let us know in the comments section below.